right, what's up, everybody? This is episode 51 of Past the Ox. We are back, and we are here with a special guest that I have been excited to have on after having many talks. This is Zoe, which, fun little sidebar. I work with Zoe's dad, and weirdly enough, he is the only person in the generation above when I mention anime that he almost seems to out-anime me.
It's
Yeah.
God, an anime.
Yeah.
So he told me one day, he's like, "Oh yeah, one of my kids is really into this stuff, but also they're a fursuit maker." And this is very, very cool for me because like I appreciate art in all different forms, but I think that's just a subculture that I know very little about. So I'm very, very excited to learn more. But I figure we can get into the meat and potatoes of that a little later. We could just start with introductions and things of that nature.
Okay.
Because also, I am wildly outnumbered in terms of being the only Jinx hater here.
Oh
Yeah,
my
I
God,
know.
I can't wait. It's
I will gas
you know.
about it.
it's
Oh, it was so funny. Last night, Ari texted me. It was like, "Did you see their Discord?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah." Oh no.
it's
Not only the Jinx profile picture, but also number one, was it Jinx apologist?
Oh
I
my
don't
god. Arcane has hooked me, and then I was like, yeah, I like that one. I don't know why you hate Jinx. Like,
Jordy doesn't understand the concept of a tragic hero. He has to have all his heroes be like Superman, like be like clean and squeaky and like perfect. He doesn't like the grit.
wait, then who's your
appreciate-
favorite?
In Arcane?
Yeah.
I like Vi. I think Vi's sick.
Vi's cool. Vi's cool.
But then you hate Jinx. Okay. Yeah.
I think Vi does a great job of being that troubled hero, but Jinx is like, I murder a bunch of people and now I'm a good guy.
She has reasons for it.
Yeah, Jordy, she has reasons for it. I can't believe you hate her. That's insane.
Murder is okay sometimes.
Yeah, you heard it here.
Preach.
Zoe, before we get too far out of Arcane, what would you give Arcane season 1 and season 2 out of 10? Very hot topic on this podcast and in a group text that I'm unfortunately a part of.
Season 1, I'll probably give it like an 8 or a 9 out of 10. There are a few things, like no show is perfect, but I definitely prefer it over season 2. I think season 2 is pretty rushed in some places, so I'd give season 2 like a 7. It was still pretty good, like soundtrack wise and storyline, but I think some parts were pretty rushed.
Ori's out. Jordy gave Arcane like an 8.5, and
No,
Ori
8.
was so bent out of shape about it. Was so for like a week. We would be like, "Hey, Ori, can you do this?" He'd be like, "Not until Jordy says Arcane is a 9 out of 10."
8 out of 10 is disrespectful.
He said I liked Arcane. It's just
Not
for
enough.
me personally.
It's
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Jinx, but the other one is just the art style itself doesn't do it for me.
What?
The action,
The art
the-
it's the
style.
best part.
It's so good.
the action sequences with that art style, insane. They look incredible. I think it's very unique.
But
That's the show, homie.
That's the show.
Everything else, I just don't like how people look.
Wow. Cutting that, we're using that for blackmail.
Oh yeah.
I just don't like how the people look. Good luck getting the job now, Jordy.
Everybody's
Yeah.
got the squarest jaws ever.
No. It's just the art.
Jordy,
That's
you're
what
on
I'm
an
saying. This is a
island.
personal thing. This is not
It's-
anything against the animators. They clearly put a lot of love into it. It's just it doesn't do it for me.
Say it's an 8.5. Say it's an
Damn, we
8.5
are
on camera.
What are we? 6.5 minutes into the show, and we're already. That's all we got time for this week, folks.
Yep. See you guys.
All right, so Zoe, let's get into it, getting to know you some. So what is it that brought you into like just geek culture in general?
I don't know. The internet.
It's-
God, I can't even say a specific moment where I just got suckered into everything, but I was more into the furry fandom first. I mean, well, I guess my first official fandom was the Warrior Cats fandom. I
haven't
now
heard
I'm
of
a
that.
furry and majoring in animal sciences. I know, make it make sense. But I think that was the
Cat
first.
Warriors?
Yeah, the
Oh, the
cats.
book series?
Yeah.
Okay. David, my brother, partakes.
So into it.
Partakes.
It's
I have the first 3 series all in the books. Like I would not stop talking about it. I would not stop making art about it. So I think that was like my first like official fandom. And that was before I was like accessing social media stuff, because that was like 3rd grade me. But I was on YouTube and I saw like the multi-animator projects and stuff, and then I kind of ventured out into the anime stuff during COVID, and then that was also around the time I started getting into like furry stuff. So been dabbling in things here and there.
Okay. Well, here, let's jump into this as you are part of the culture. Can you define for us what a furry is? Because I feel like there's a ton of misconceptions amongst people.
Literally the basic, like there's so many people that assume the worst. It's the definition of a furry is just an animal with anthropomorphic features, so human-like characteristics. So they'll be bipedal, like standing on 2 legs. They'll talk. They'll wear human clothes. That's literally it. Like, I'm gonna throw this out there. Like, Zootopia is quite literally the definition of what a furry would be.
Mm-hmm.
But people socially accept that, and then some people are like, "Oh no, furries are bad," and I'm like, "No, it's literally the same thing."
If
Yeah.
Jordy was a furry, he'd be the sloth from Zootopia.
Was his name Flash?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I was gonna say there's so many people that have like these weird negative connotations towards furries, and when you ask them why, they're like, I don't know. I'm like,
They're weird. Yeah, man.
They're weird,
You two are
okay.
probably.
Like any
Everybody's a
fan-
little bit. Exactly. Everybody's a little bit weird. It's just all how you are weird. Like it's.
Yeah.
Ori's weird in one way. Jordy's weird in a lot of ways, honestly.
This is a gassing Jordy episode.
this is every episode. I tell you.
Yeah.
What.
No, it's not, buddy.
Well, okay.
You want
All
to
right.
see the hot
All right.
seat? It resides in this
Yeah,
room. It's,
Yeah, I don't agree with Ori often, but I'll give Ori that. It's usually us against them.
That is fair.
back off. It's my throne.
So then on top of that, so you got into the furry culture. What is it that got you into actually crafting fursuits? Because that is a niche upon niche upon niche.
It's very niche, and also like not a lot of people can hold off doing it because it's just a lot of work. So a lot of people kind of just like fall off once they start because they're like, oh, this is a lot of work. I've always been into like sewing stuff, I guess. I don't know, like crafting and like doing art was my thing, and then I kind of wanted to branch out. Once I like kind of made my own like Sona and stuff, I was like, oh, I should make, I wanted to make a fursuit. I looked at a bunch of YouTube videos of like tutorials, and I was like, I could probably make a project out of this. So, I had Venus 1.0 made. When was that? Like 2020? I don't know, 15-year-old me or something. Was not the best looking. It's at home with my parents' house. I don't know why I still have it because it's really bad. But like all the seams were glued. It's like not great. But it was a first time project, and I think for a first time it wasn't horrible, especially for a 15-year-old. And then after that, I think about a year later, I wanted to make another character because I was very much into Detroit Become Human. So
Okay.
I made a character inspired by one of the characters. And then decided, I was like, let me make a full bodysuit out of this. So 16-year-old me asked for my sweet 16 birthday present was a sewing machine. Hacked out, bought a pre-made head base, and then just kind of winged it from there. And then now it branched off into like, I guess, more serious stuff. Because I'm always like wanting to craft something, or at least like get my hands working, because I cannot sit still sometimes. So I actually got like a real sewing machine. I had a brother, but like broke on me because they suck. Don't get brothers. They're not good. So I finally
Also,
invested.
don't have actual brothers. They
Yeah,
also suck
yeah.
too.
I invested in a Singer heavy duty for about 300. It's lasted me ever since. It's had to have a few repairs here and there, but it's pretty good. It's like an industrial grade machine because I do other stuff with it. So yeah, I guess that's where I like more branched off into like doing something serious about it.
Okay. Now, one of the things that fascinates me most, I think, about like fursuits is the science behind it. Because like
Yeah.
your dad was telling me about like
Mhm.
it's so many factors you have to take into play. Like one of the
Yeah.
big ones I never considered was like ventilation.
Yep.
So you gotta make sure you can breathe in there. And like he's
Yeah.
mentioning like magnetic eyebrows and fangs and like just all the different features. So like how technical does this get for you?
It depends with every maker. So sometimes, I guess for me right now, so this is Venus 3.0. I just finished her in time for Katsucon, but she has a magnetic hair tuft, and then her tongue can actually come out too with a magnet.
Whoa.
They're pretty strong. But I guess technicality wise, I mean, I was gonna have the eye blanks removable, but I realized that I didn't want that, so I ended up just like leaving them in. I guess technicality wise, I don't know. I guess it just depends on like what I want in that project, and then what the client wants too. So ventilation, I usually do ear vents. So like at the base of the ears, I'll have vents, and then the eyes count as ventilation, and then obviously the mouth too. Some makers will hollow out the muzzle and then put a fan in there, so it cools you off. For me, I just have a neck fan, and then I stick it in the mouth, and then it blows air. Just because if I hollowed out this muzzle, it like wouldn't be supported a specific way, and it just realistically wouldn't work. And also that muzzle in there is too small to actually fit a fan. For bodysuit stuff, my bodysuits have removable padding, so I can actually take the thigh pillows out, and then it has a hidden belt loop, so all I need to do is just turn it inside out and toss it in the wash and then air dry it, and you're good to go. Trying to think of what else. I need to add a zipper to the back of her head because putting on the neck is a little bit tight, but like once it's on my head, it's fine. It's just getting it over my head that's a little bit of a struggle. So I'm going to put a zipper in the back of her neck so I can just slide on the head much easier and then zip it up once
Wow.
it's actually on. So I guess that's more the technicality stuff that I do.
I think a lot of people think they're like super simple, but like I know I saw one in person. It was like Master Chief's helmet. It's like there's a lot going on.
Probably like a lot of parts and efforts and work that goes into it.
Yeah.
So adding that
there in particular.
Oh, which one?
Sorry, Tyler, you can go.
Yeah, on the head that you have sitting there, where do your eyes sit that you look out? Do you look out the eyes itself, or do you have like?
No, I look at the eyes. So the eyes are actually
Okay.
mesh. The eyes are mesh. You just can't see it because the holes are like really, really small.
Gotcha.
I don't have a dye sublimated machine set up, so they're actually dye sublimated. It's like what you put on like t-shirts and stuff. So like you press, it's like a heat press thing. So you do it on the mesh, and then it's basically waterproof because there's no paint there that'll chip away. And the holes are really small, but the ventilate, like to look out, it's great. Because you dye the other side black, so it like cancels out the white. I don't know. There's like some sort of weird optical illusion science that it tricks your brain or something. I don't know. It's just that like I know that if you put black on the other side, you can see much better out of it. That's all I know. But those are waterproof, so if like water gets into it, or if like I'm sweating or it gets like high moisture in there, they're not gonna like fall apart on me. But yeah, that's where you see out of is where the eyes sit. So
That's cool.
Where the bridge of the nose is where my actual nose is.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, how about like the leg portion? Is that padding that helps form that the angled
The animal
portion?
shape, yeah, the
Yeah.
the digi shape. So her bodysuit's at home because it's really gross after Katsu, and I need to wash everything. I'm not gonna wash the padding, just because it's fine as is. But it's basically just like it just sits on top of my thighs. But once you pattern the bodysuit, you have to do a duct tape dummy. So basically, you T-pose, and then your friend duct tapes you while you wear a painter suit, and then you cut yourself out of it without. Yeah, that's what my
God.
New Year's activity was with my friend, was to who also was a furry. So I was like, "Hey, can you help me make a duct tape dummy for my bodysuit?" So it's just a cheap way to get a mannequin, basically, and then you stuff it with newspaper, and now you have this dummy that you can hang up, and then you add the leg padding to it, and then the feet. I usually pre-make the feet ahead of time, which creates like, I guess, the hock area. So it's basically like you just slide the feet on, and then you just put the bodysuit on top, and it makes that shape. It's just easier that way instead of like having calf padding that might slip out. That's how I prefer to do it. So the padding is removable. It's just basically like I just do neoprene for it because it's moisture wicking that way, and you just literally push them in after you pattern it. You just tape the padding to the duct tape dummy, and then you retape it so you can pattern it, and then cut it out, sew it all together, and then once you put the bodysuit on with the zipper, you can just slide the leg padding in, and you're good.
So how'd you
But
learn
you just
all
have to
this?
waddle.
It's
You just have to waddle.
Like I'm hearing words, but there's already smoke coming out of my ears right now.
Yeah,
There was
with
smoke
my-
coming out of ears when we started this morning, so
Yeah, when I wear my bodysuit, I basically have to waddle, even though the padding isn't even that big. It's just, I think, I guess it's like, because if you press your legs together, the padding gets in the way, so you're kind of like forced to waddle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So walking around in a convention hall is definitely interesting.
Oh, I imagine it gets wicked hot.
Oh, it does. When I went to Katsu, and my friend, it was pouring rain out when we walked out, but I was like, okay, let me take off the fursuit first before we have to rush out to the car in the pitch black. So my friend pulled his car around, and I was like, hey, can you help me? And my other friend, I was like, hey, can you help me take this off so we can just throw it in the car? But there was no like heating in the elevator lobby for the parking garage, just because it was like connected to the outside. I took the bodysuit off and I started steaming.
yeah.
I literally looked at my friend and I said, and we both looked at each other, and I was like, am I steaming? And it literally was, I was like steaming. And even when I got in the car, I was still steaming, and we were all dying about it.
it's like, don't be alarmed. I think you're about to catch on fire.
Yeah, I was literally steaming, and I was like, great, I'm going to be freezing cold in 30 minutes.
Crazy.
Yeah, I sweat bullets in there, but it, like, at first it's kind of stuffy, and then you kind of just get used to it after a while. I guess, even though you still feel really sticky in there, but like, you're basically just a radiating space heater. I'll have like my friends hug me in the middle of me fursuiting, and I'm like, how? And they're like, oh my god, you're like radiating body heat right now.
Yeah,
yeah.
covered in fur. What do you expect?
Yeah, no, but I take breaks. I take breaks to like rehydrate, take the head off. I'll unzip the front sometimes, and then I don't take off the bodysuit completely because then it's gonna be harder to put back on. So I just kind of take the zipper off so it airs out a lot more, and then I'll just take the head off and the hands as well, and then kind of just cool off that way.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
It's-
Sometimes the head gets stuffy, so I'll stick the neck fan up the neck and then wait for it to cool down.
So
Yeah.
Your next
how did you-
your next project should have a portable air conditioner in it.
Probably.
Just something with a big tail. Just get an air conditioner that just pumps in from the back, just through the whole suit.
There's actually this one method. I don't know why I didn't think of it because I bought it, but so one of my friends who I made a bodysuit for as a commission, one of my clients, and she had this brilliant idea of wearing an ice cooling vest inside the bodysuit.
yeah.
So like you just stuff it with a bunch of ice packs and then you wear it. So I got one on Amazon for like $30 and you can just stick a bunch of ice packs in there. So I'll probably do that for Otakon because it gets really hot in August in DC.
Oh jeez.
Oh my god, yeah, I couldn't. You went to Katsucon, you were sweating, and it was pretty cold that time of the month and stuff. I can't imagine.
Inside, it was not.
Yeah.
Oh my god, August in a fursuit.
So
Yeah.
I'm curious, what brought about the idea of Venus for you? Like, what is it that goes into the idea of a fursona?
I made her when I was like 15. So, I mean, her name wasn't Venus at first. It was Luna, but I already had another character that was named Luna. And I was like, well, I don't want two characters with the same name. So I actually renamed her to Venus about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, maybe. Just because I wanted something space themed, but I wasn't sure what. And then I found Venus and I was like, oh, wait, this actually kind of fits. So her design kind of changed here and there, but mostly stayed consistent with the whole, like, wanted it to be a canine and, like, a wolf dog and stuff, because I like dog, you know, I'm a dog person. I also like wolves and stuff. I also like, you know, different blues and whatnot, but I actually found the, I guess, rainbowy fur at Joann's, because it's, I just flip it over and it's like all one sheet of fabric. So
Oh, okay.
I don't have to sew like tiny different pieces all together. So that was pretty convenient. So I got it from Joann's. So I just like had to cut one piece of fur and we were good, because I thought it was cool for like the inner ears and the hair. And then I wanted to keep like the space theme. But Fursona is basically like a character that's supposed to represent you, but you can also add things here and there. So I kind of just combined a bunch of things that I liked. So I liked the whole space theme. I'm a dog person, but I also like wolves. So I did like a wolf dog. And then when I did her bodysuit, I decided to like design the back to be a little bit more space themed. So she is one star at the top of her back and then a little Saturn design with the pink furs, like the Saturn, and then the ring is like this purpley kind of, it's called periwinkle, but it's more purple than anything. And then she has another star at the base of her tail, and then one blue foot, and then one foot that just has like the aqua toe beans. So because when I made Venus 1.0 with the feet, it was one blue foot, one gray foot. So I kind of wanted to keep that originality to it. So I guess Venus is more of like my extroverted side, I guess.
Okay.
Because sometimes I'm like, I don't want to socialize. I want to socialize. So she's got like some of my traits, but she is also like her own character sometimes. So when I'm like in Venus, I'm definitely like a little bit of a different person.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
she has like some of the traits that I like, and then, you know, likes and dislikes. So it's basically just like you as an animal, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that's where, like, you know,
Yeah.
people sit there, like, I have fun at work asking people what they think their spirit animal is.
That's basically that, yeah.
Right. That's the way I put it. Is like, it's funny. It was a way to mask it, because, like, I remember I asked these two fellas one time in the group chat, because I was under the influence of a lot of free time.
Yeah.
And, I wound up saying, if you guys
That's what
had a
we call it.
persona, what would it be? Because I thought long and hard about this. I forget if we got answers out of you guys, but I said a jester platypus.
A Chester I've never seen a platypus fursuit before, so it could be a first. Or a Sona
This
of a
guy sees
platypus.
everything in platypus. He thinks Psyduck is a platypus, but we can talk about that
Psyduck
later.
is a platypus, so
Psyduck is a platypus.
Psyduck is a platypus.
thank you.
It has duck in the name. It has duck.
But it
Sucking
looks
heart.
like a platypus.
Yeah, it's because side platypus doesn't really roll off the tongue that well. Or slypus,
No, don't say that.
slypus, that doesn't work.
That
doesn't work for
the
anybody.
Pokemon. I don't work for the Pokemon company. I don't know what you want me to tell you. It's-
What would slypus evolve into? Goldpuss?
God.
yes.
That's not gonna work for me either.
Psy Platy or something. Platy Psy. There we go. Platy Psy.
That sounds so much better. Let's stick
Nintendo, hit me up.
Also, then let me name your Pokemon, Nintendo.
Yeah.
So Zoe, on the question, you were saying that Venus is almost like a projection of yourself. Would you
Yeah.
say that's kind of the case with most people who own fursuits and consider themselves furries, or do you think it's like almost like an alter ego for some people?
It depends on the person. Sometimes her persona is quite literally them projected onto an animal. Sometimes people fursuit a character that was like pre-designed for them, or they like bought it as an adopt. So like different artists will be like, here are different species and adopts, and then you kind of just buy the character and then you kind of transform it a little bit. That's what my girlfriend did. So she saw this like Australian Shepherd adopt online, but it didn't have a fursuit or anything. But it was like a plant loving Australian Shepherd that had like some plant designs in it, and that was literally like what she loves, and like the color palette was her colors, so she bought it and then kind of transformed it into her own like Fursona. So she's getting a fursuit out of it too. Which I was mad at her when she told me that she's doing a different maker, and I said, "How dare you?" But just tail and the hands and everything, and I was like, "You better." So she's like, "I didn't want to stress you because of school," which I was like, "Okay, that's fair." But at first, I was petty about it. I think like she's been sending me progress photos, and I think it's gonna be really cute. So, but yeah. It really depends. Like I have a secondary, I wouldn't say Fursona because it's not based off of me at all. It's based off of a character from a favorite anime of mine. And I kind of just like design that and then have plans in the distant future to make a fursuit out of it. At least just the head, hands, and a tail. Maybe upgrade it if I feel like it. But I do have plans to like kind of make that one into a fursuit, but it's nothing related to me at all. I just wanted to make a character that like an anthropomorphic character based off of that one, I guess. So it really depends on the person.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
Now,
So
from start to finish, how long is
That was my
that
question.
process?
It depends. Also, very dependent on like one, my schedule, two, my motivation, and also like the complexity of the design. So Venus didn't take a whole lot because her design is relatively simple. You know, because with her head at least, it's very simple. It's literally just the under markings and then nothing like too complex back there. It's just the gray fur. So she didn't take me that long, but there was this bodysuit commission that I just finished, which took me on and off about 6 months because a lot of the markings had to be hand sewn. Because it was little tiny spots everywhere. So for a painted dog. So I finally got that finished, handed it off to the client. They're gonna give it back to me after Furthermore, which is a convention. Furry convention. I'm gonna do some repairs and then
I love that name. That is a great freaking name.
Furthermore. I have heard of it. I just haven't had the chance to like actually go to Furthermore, which is this upcoming weekend. So I'm not going, because I'm working actually. Yeah, so I guess start to finish. I guess for Venus, I don't know. I'd probably say I finished her head in like 2 weeks because I was rushing to get it done before Katsucon. But if I really take my time, like I said, it really depends. But for like a mini partial, which is like head, hands, and a tail, and if I have the time, it probably takes me about 3 months total. And then if I need to make an entire full suit, which is what Venus is, so it's like the head, you got your bodysuit, the hands, the tail, the feet, so like everything's covered in fur basically. I think on and off she took me about, I'd probably say about a year, just because of scheduling wise. But I also have some commissions that I need to like chip away at too, so yeah, like I said, it really depends on my schedule, but so sometimes it can take like 2 months, or sometimes it could take an entire year. Like it really depends on the character
how much
and what they want.
How much do you think like the average full body suit like would cost someone? Like if someone was looking to get into it, how much would you say like have this much ready?
Or he's got a pen and a paper out.
it's
Obviously Venus just cost me materials because I didn't have to pay anyone.
Right.
So I'd probably say all of her materials cost me about $600. Because the fur is the most expensive part. It's like $30 a yard, so you need like, 4 or 5 yards total of everything, and then you got to pay for like the foam and then the 3D printed stuff. I don't have a 3D printer, so there are Etsy shops that just sell like fursuit making parts, so like 3D printed teeth or the eye blanks, which is the white part. I usually get them 3D printed just because it lasts better and it's waterproof. So her materials cost me about $600 on and off. But if someone were to commission me for a full suit, I basically have like a tier list of like, okay, how complex is your character? Because if it's just like 2 colors, then, and it's 2 colors and it's just very, very simple markings, then I don't charge that much because I don't have to put as much work or materials cost into it. My prices, I think for a full suit, I think it starts at like $2K. If it's super, super simple, I've been told I'm undercharging, but I'm trying to get my name out there first and then I might consider. But for something that's like really, really complicated, for an entire full suit, I can charge up to like $4,500. So it really depends. Dang. Yeah. I just sent a quote out for someone who submitted for a hyena and has a lot of stripes and spots and stuff. So I was like, okay, I don't remember what I specifically quoted them, but it was something in the 4K. So, because they wanted a full suit out of it, which I think is a really cool character. But I was like, it's gonna take me a long time. So, I'm quoting you like I think I said like 4,500. I don't remember, but it was something in that range.
When it's taking you a whole year, yeah, that's very reasonable.
Yeah, and especially with like all the hand sewing that I have to do for it, because machine sewing very small markings is not possible. So you have to hand sew a lot of that stuff, which takes very long. I've gotten to a rhythm where like I can do it quickly, but it still takes a while because then you have to like cut the thread and then tie it and then you have to do another one. It's just like a whole process. So sometimes I'll turn on a movie and then just get it done.
Jeez.
So, yeah.
That's crazy. I have a hard time finishing any project, period. So
yeah, I finish these fursuit stuff because I literally have so many unfinished projects for like my art stuff, and I'm like, how am I doing this and finishing it in like 2 weeks? I guess my motivation is just very sporadic in terms of like, what do I actually feel like doing today?
Yeah, and you sent us some of your artwork as well, and like, holy crap. Like, that's very impressive to me.
Some of them are like, oh, I've just sat down and hacked it out, or like some of them have been on and off that I've been working on. It just depends what my motivation feels like, but sometimes I'll sit down for hours and just do fursuit stuff, which is weird because my motivation is very sporadic sometimes. So I'll just sit down and like finish X, Y, and Z, and then I'm like, oh, I don't feel like doing this.
So when you go to conventions, are you just like going to show off what you made, or are you kind of going to like hand out business cards, or like you trying to promote yourself? Or
no, I just do it for fun, but sometimes a lot of people are like, oh my god, who made your fursuit? And I'm like, I did. So then I kind of use it as a shameless self-plug.
There you go.
You just pop the head off and you're like, I made this.
No, I actually just purchased on Vistaprint, like I just custom made some business cards, so I'm gonna hand them out at conventions, which it just basically says like the studio name and then my Instagram and then my link tree. I don't have an official website because I don't think I need a website. So I just have a link tree, which basically like has my terms of service, a link to my fursuit portfolio. I'm probably going to make a document with some like price lists, but I also have on my Instagram highlights, like this is what your starting price is probably going to be. Links to my quote forms, my work list. So I have a Trello. I don't know if you guys know what Trello is. But I have a Trello, which is basically like a public to-do list that you can like track the progress of certain things. So I have like a waiting and then an in progress and then a completed. So if they want to check my Trello to see like this is where you stand in line and this is the progress that I made on it. Because sometimes I forget to like message clients and I'm like, oh, by the way, I finished this, but I'll definitely check off the Trello. So I'm like, if you want more accurate updates, look there.
So it's almost like shipping updates kind of thing.
Yeah, in a way. But I don't know. I just lost my train of thought. I don't know why. But yeah, so the conventions thing. I do it for fun. Just because it's fun to fursuit and walk around in a giant dog, as a giant dog. I don't know where I put it. Oh, it's here. I have a giant bell collar for Venus that I'll wear. So
That's awesome.
it makes a lot of noise and it's very fun to walk around with that. Because then I'll just like bounce around and then you hear this bell collar. But when I went to Katsu, I was literally stopped probably every minute. Can I get a picture? Can I get a picture? Can I have a hug? So my friends and I think I'm just happy that my friends weren't annoyed by it. I think they thought it was like so cute that I was getting all this attention and they're like, oh my God, you're so adorable. Cause it was the first time they've seen me full suit in person. They've known about this and like that I do this. And they think it's cool, but I think it was just like seeing it in real life and me interacting with everyone was really cool. So I had some extra stickers to hand out. So I was handing out stickers with like my studio name on it. But they were like, what's your Instagram? And then I had to keep shouting like what my user handle was. So I got the business cards so I could just hand them out to people. And then I'm going to get some more stickers soon that I just designed last night, actually. It's like Venus holding a paintbrush in her mouth. So I'm going to hand those out and they're going to be like glittery and stuff. So I could just hand them out to people and do like a shameless self-plug, or I might put together like little goodie bags with like my business card, some stickers, and then just kind of hand them out every time that someone gets a picture with me or something. Because that's what I've done. So
yeah, that's cool. That leads me into a question of like, the furry community, I think we pretty misunderstood from like the outside perspective looking in.
Yeah.
I was just curious if there was like, you've ever been to a con and like, you kind of get weird looks from like the other people there because they're like, well, you're a furry and stuff like, or if it's kind of generally like a pretty tight knit community in the con world.
Generally, when you go to an anime convention, they kind of expect furries to be there. And they're also very cool about it. I took a bunch of pictures with Arcane cosplayers because I wanted to see like all the cool ones. There was this really sweet Caitlyn cosplayer that I wanted a picture of, and I was like geeking out over her cosplay because it was so good. And then she was geeking out over my fursuit, and we were both like squealing at each other. And it was cute. And she's like, "Did you make it?" And I was like, "Yeah, did you make yours?" So we were both like geeking out over each other. So like definitely very warm and welcoming. And we took a picture together and gave each other hugs and stuff. Like she was the sweetest. And I think her partner was cosplaying Vine, was also like super cool about it. But sometimes I'll be fursuiting like out in public for like either events or like just because. So when you're out in public and it's not like any sort of like event, sometimes I get weird looks about it. And like, but most of the time it's from like college kids that just don't understand, or they just want to make fun of the furry stuff. Like I don't care because I'm like, I don't know you, so. And plus, I'm wearing a mask. You don't know who I am. So if I'm walking around, they won't know who I am, and they can't, like, even if they do like blast me on social media, I'm like, I don't know why you think this is something to blast me about, but
yeah, let them blast you. You got a business to support.
I teach their own, whatever. But like, I feel like unanimously, even though there are some people that just like don't like furries, I think they all unanimously agree that like they make decent money if they get commissioned for fursuit stuff. So reactions are varied, but most of the time when you go to conventions, it's a very chill environment.
I've always found it funny. It's like from an outside perspective that people will be like, "Oh, furries are weird," but I love Gritty, the mascot.
Oh, I'm like, your school mascot is literally a furry. Like, I don't know where it's not communicating.
Yeah, but it's like a horse or something. Like you just don't get it. It's like a horse. It's not like
yeah, I don't know.
People are idiots.
People are weird.
So I feel like, from my perspective, from what I've seen, like the dog slash wolf is kind of like one of the more popular designs. What would you say are like the top 3 amongst furries?
There's this joke that goes in the fandom that it's like it's a blue wolf. I don't know why, but I've seen so many of those, and it's just a running joke in the fandom that like, oh, you made your first Fursona, and then it's a blue wolf, and you know that's like your typical like copy paste Fursona, which is actually funny because I think this character is super cute. It's actually a blue healer cross, but it's definitely like a bluish dog with like wolf characteristics, but it definitely doesn't like, I don't think it fits that box criteria. But it's a really cute design that I'm doing. I guess besides wolves, I think definitely felines would be your second. So any sort of cat species. I've seen a lot of lynx. I've seen a lot of Bengals, sometimes lion. I don't know, just any sort of feline, like domestic cat. Third most popular, I'd probably say like a Dutch angel dragon, maybe, which is like it's a species that was created by the fandom. It's basically like they have like a horse-like face, but they have huge ears. They have paws and like, you know, actual paws, but they have like some feathers intermingled. They're really cute. But
okay. I just Googled it.
Jordy,
Yeah.
Hold it up.
I mean, all right. Let's see. This is kind
there
of.
should be a brown one. That might be
Is
telephone.
it gonna? There, it's kind of.
Oh my god.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Kind of
that's what they look like. They're really
Okay.
cute. They're really cute.
they're adorable.
I've definitely seen a furry like that before. I just didn't know. that
Yeah, I think that's like your third
angel
most popular.
dragon.
So, like canine,
Yeah.
feline, Dutchies, are your go-tos. I've seen some horses. I've seen, you know, you can see like random species. I know there's a local furry to me that's an axolotl. You know, like you'll get any species you can think of if they want to do it. Some people will make fursuits out of like different characters. There's another DMV furry that's pretty popular that made like this like chibi toothless bodysuit, so it looks like toothless, but it's not like your typical, I guess, species. So, but yeah, those are definitely your top 3 that you'll see.
We should use this. We should use this platform to push a very underwhelming animal to the top of the Fursona list.
Yeah,
Like I can't think of anything like just a real bottom tier animal. Just make him like top tier Fursona.
Mhm.
What's a bottom tier animal? Groundhog Fursona.
or we'll do a groundhog
Groundhog Fursona.
or prairie dog or something.
Oh yeah, anything of like small weasel-like creatures. A mole Fursona would be fun. Not a
was-
naked one though. That would be
I was
weird.
about to say mongoose because of the way that Caitlin says it. Make a mongoose with blue hair for Caitlin. Dress it up.
I was saying that the other day I was asking my friends or my coworkers. These are the things I think about at work when we're on downtime. But I was like, is the plural of mongoose mongooses or mongoose?
I believe it is like deer. I think it is mongoose.
It's literally the
It's
conversation
mongooses.
I have with my coworkers too. It's funny. Like you just think of random stuff during downtime and you're like, what's some weird stuff we can do?
Or what's your opinion? Mongoose, mongoose, or mongooses?
I was thinking Mongai, but I don't.
Well, okay. Why the fuck did I ask you?
Research this. It is mongooses.
Gooses?
It
Interesting.
is mongooses.
I would have assumed it was just mongoose.
Yeah.
A
Because like
mongoose.
the plural of deer is deer. Interesting.
Mongoosin.
Just a Jamaican guy trying to warn you about the goose walking down the street. Watch it, man! Goose!
Oh shit.
Okay.
So all in all, amongst like fursuit creators, would you say, like, I mean, clearly everyone's trying to make some like notoriety and or
Yeah.
some coin. Would you say it's a very highly competitive or is it highly supportive?
I can't. I don't know. It really depends. I'd probably say a mixture of both. I don't think we like bring each other down at all. I've never really seen that in the fandom, but there are definitely like very popular makers that have gone off because of things that have come out about them. So there's a lot of bewares of like, I don't know if any furries are gonna be watching this, but like Don't Hug Cacti that came out for being, you know, like a zoophile, and you know, all these different things that, you know, has come out about like certain makers. So I think the market is more of like, should I be wary of this person because of what they may be doing behind the scenes? So
I gotta take a pause. I think I might be the only person that doesn't know what a zoophile is.
no.
Break down the words, Tyler. Break down the
Yeah, I
prefix
know,
and
but
suffix.
I don't want to assume the wrong thing.
You can assume the. I think you're
You can
assuming the right thing.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Sadly, there are some people in the fandom like that, which
Oh
sucks
my
because
God.
then it ruins the image for all of us. And we're
Right.
like, you're just adding to the stereotype. Thanks.
Yeah, nobody in the mainstream world is gonna be like, there's so many great furries out here just like perfecting the craft and supporting the community. It's always the 1% that is like,
No,
this one's a
seriously.
zoophile, or this one's like a fucking pedophile or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And then you get the whole community gets a bad rap.
Yeah. And then it just all goes to flames. So that's where like it teeters. But I'd probably say it's definitely like supportive in that sense, because I like, one of my best friends is a fursuit maker, so we'll support each. Like that's how I learned the idea of like a magnetic tongue and hair tuft. I wasn't sure where to get the magnets from, so she sent me links for it. She let me borrow a few things. She let me use her sewing machine, which is so nice. Because we were just hanging out at her apartment for a few hours, and we were both working on respective things, like fursuit wise. So, she's like, "You could just use my machine for a few hours," and I was like, "Okay, sure." You know, me using a $1,200 sewing machine, no pressure. But oh my god, it was so nice. Once I finally get $1,200 to spare, it'll be on my wish list. But I'd probably say it's definitely more supportive than competitive. I think we're all just like happy to give advice to other makers. Like there are a lot of makers on TikTok that'll be like, here are some tips and tricks for your own fursuit making business. And so I think we're like, the fandom's basically one big happy. I won't say happy, but like, because there's some like things that'll like set us off. But we're definitely like very tight knit in that sense of like we're all happy to like help each other out. Whether that be like tips and tricks, or here's some resources for you, or sometimes if like one maker is, you know, their sole source of income is making fursuits and they need to pay off like bills or something, other famous makers will repost it and saying like, hey, please give them a look. So I'll definitely say it's more supportive than competitive, but obviously everyone's trying to make money and get their business out there. So
yeah, and stuff like that, like a healthy community supports like friendly, good competition, because like if you and your fellow fursuit makers are only making the same things and stuff like that, nobody's progressing and stuff like that, everybody is just going to be at the same level then. But if you have a friend who is like, I'm going to try this with my fursuit, and then it comes out and it's like, oh, this is really cool.
Yeah.
You're going to be like, oh, maybe I'll try that next time. And then it just progresses. And then you get like, you get like fursuits with like animatronic tails, which I'm sure are do people do that? Is that a thing?
It's not animatronic, but it wags. Because I guess I can go and grab it really quick. You might see my dog in the background. She's sleeping. But here we go. So this is Venus's tail. It's pretty big. It just hasn't been brushed in a little bit, but it actually wags if I go like this.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay. Yeah.
So it has a foam core and a hidden belt loop. So the belt loops go there. So it slides in the middle. So that's just the cap. But it's not really an animatronic tail, but I basically just got a foam core and then shaved it with a bread knife, an electric bread knife. And then you cut slits into the foam and basically weaken it out, and then it wags.
That's cool.
Weirdly enough, I can picture that, and it makes sense in my mind.
Yeah.
Videos of me testing out that foam core and sending it to like my friends, and I'm like, oh my god, it actually works. So
The first couple times you walked with it, is it weird to walk with like something wagging behind you?
it's
Or is it
actually
lightweight enough that it doesn't really throw off your like balance?
but it bounces a lot when I walk with it because of like the foam core and but it also adds to like the animation of the character. So the tail like bounces and wags a little bit if I sway my hips, or like if I'm walking and then the tail will bounce up and down a little bit. So I feel it, but it's nothing to where it's like bothering me. And the belt that I have, it's a stretchy belt, so it kind of takes a lot of that weight, but sometimes I'll just switch it out with a normal belt depending on like what I want to wear belt wise. I guess like more of like, do I want more give or do I want something more solid? Because sometimes I have to retighten the stretch belt, so like tighten it again, I guess. But with a normal belt, I usually just keep it a little bit more tight just so it stays snug. But if I'm partialing, then I'll just slide it through my belt loops on my jeans or something.
Now,
Yeah.
Are there any like cultural like faux pas when making a fursuit, or like when you're in fursuit? Like, is there a rule set kind of that's like unspoken but people just abide by?
I don't know. Probably the first one is just put on deodorant. Like, some furries don't do that, and it's nasty as hell. Like, even for most cosplayers, like, please, I don't want to smell BO in a convention hall.
This is a PSA for all nerd and geek cultures.
Yes, please.
Deodorant ain't that
God.
expensive, and you know what? Bring a bag. It doesn't hurt to reapply in the middle of the day.
Like, I will
It's
shower
hot.
the day of, and then I'll shower afterwards. Like, after I fursuit, I'll shower. Before I fursuit, I shower. Like, I'm trying to make sure I'm like decently clean. I mean, that's just an unspoken rule for everything. That was like the first thing I thought of, because sometimes fursuits, also just wash your freaking fursuit and brush it, because if you don't brush it, it looks really bad and matted, and I've seen some people that just don't brush their fursuits at all and it looks bad. And sometimes they don't even wash it, and I'm like, it smells. So I guess that's another like unspoken rule, is just keep that shit clean.
Yeah, you want to look like a wolf, not smell like a wolf.
No, seriously, like, I only spot clean Venus after KatsuCon because her head is brand new and I don't feel like I don't feel like fully cleaning it yet because I don't think she needs it. But I brought my bodysuit and the feet home. I need to wash the hand paws because they also got a bit sweaty. But anytime I sweat or like I'm in a convention center for more than like 5 hours, I'll wash it just so it's clean. Smells good. It lasts longer that way. So I don't know, another unspoken rule, but mostly just maintain it. Because some people don't do that. Trying to think of other things. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
You should advertise Venus as the freshest smelling furry.
The spray that I got, it smells like lavender, and it's really good. I got it, I was looking for some sort of essential oil spray something, and then I found it at the supermarket, and I was like, this is perfect. So sprayed it and brushed it yesterday, and now it's clean. So
Lavender is a top tier scent. I will say.
I love it. It's like lavender. I think it's lavender and chamomile. I don't remember. But lavender is also to calm you down, and I'm a naturally anxious person, so it helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel less anxious when you're in the fursuit?
Oh, absolutely. At least when I'm in like convention, like I get jitters in terms of like, oh my god, I'm so excited to like fursuit. Like every time I fursuit at conventions, it's so fun for me. I get like the excited jitters. But another thing in fursuit, like people are gonna come at me for saying this. I don't like kids that much, at least little kids. I have an 8-year-old cousin. I love him though. He's great. He's very mature for his age. But like any other kids, I'm like, not really.
Get out of here, you dirty, rotten kids. These kids don't know boundaries and stuff.
I don't want to touch, like, no. But when I'm in fursuit, I love kids. Like, it's so fun because you're just this giant dog, and you're making these kids' entire week, you know? Mm-hmm. When I went to Katsu, there were a few kids there that, like, were originally a bit shy, and then once they, like, there was this little girl who was a bit shy of me at first, so I kind of like crouched down to her level, and I was very gentle about it. And then once she warmed up to me, she got on all fours and started crawling like a dog and was barking. And the parents were like, "Oh my god!" I thought it was so cute though. But yeah, definitely like I get really excited to like interact with kids. And then there was a service dog there. at the convention. He was this Great Pyrenees named Baymax. So he is a big polar bear of a dog. And the handler was like, oh my God, he loves furries. Can you please say hi to him? And I was like, say less. So I was petting this dog. He was so happy. Like he was putting his nose on my chest and like wagging his tail. And I was like, oh my God, I'm literally dying inside. Like, I was like, this is the best. This is the best. I was so happy. But yeah, I guess I don't really get as anxious when I'm in fursuit. It's definitely like a way of self-expression in a way, and I can like kind of be someone else in a way, or like just kind of it's a lot of self-expression. Because outside of fursuit, I'm not very social if I don't know someone. Like with my friends at school or something, I'll talk to them, but outside of that, I'll put my headphones on and hide in the corner, and I'm like, do not talk to me. Unless you know me, but do not approach me. But in fursuit, I'm more of like, yes, please come say hello. Please ask for a photo with me. Like, it's really, really fun. So
I wonder what it is, the psychology behind that, because I was thinking of this.
I don't either.
In a different vein. Like when, I mean, I'm a chatterbox now that I'm older and everything, but in high school, like I had somebody compare me to a deer because I was so quiet and just like in the distance. But whenever I was in marching band and I put on that uniform, I was like, I'm invincible and can do anything.
Jordy's superhero persona is just a drumline major.
Bro, it's called a drum major.
Whatever.
Get
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing. Oh, I beat on my drums. I'm invincible.
No, the drum major is the one who conducts, you dunce.
Then why is it called drum major?
Hell, I can't give you a good idea.
Is someone who's
I don't have that answer.
Is someone who's not as good at it? Are they called a drum minor?
Okay, all right, I'll give you that one, Tyler. That one's decent.
Yeah, I know.
I won't.
I know it was.
I won't.
I know it was.
It's
So, in a kind of a departure from the furry talk, I remember your dad saying you guys took a trip to Japan recently.
Yes.
I want to hear about that because that's like one of my dream destinations to go visit.
God. Oh my God. God, that was so fun. We went for 3 weeks. We went to Tokyo, Kyoto, a little bit of Osaka. Half of the anime merch I have behind me, it was from Japan because I got so much. We did a lot of stuff. I can't even remember half of it because we were just all over the place, but definitely I want to go back again. 3 weeks is just not enough to cover everything that you want to go to.
It's a crazy statement, but I understand from listening to a lot of people talk about it. It's very true.
No, it is true. Like, you don't think about it. You're like, wait, you need another trip? And I'm like, yes, you do. 3 weeks was not enough. I swear. Like there was still so much to discover. We went to USJ, which the hype for Mario World kind of sucked because it was such a small portion of the park, and half of it was like shop stuff and like 1 or 2 rides, and it wasn't even like a ride. I guess it was more of like I don't know what it's called in Disney, where you like sit on the raft and then you kind of just go around and like see the different animatronic stuff, but it's not a ride. I don't know what
Small World.
It's a Small World or something. Yeah, that's basically what it was at Mario World. So it wasn't like, you know, but it was cool to look at because it looked really cool visually, but like there was not much to do there. So
That's underwhelming.
I know.
Behind it.
I was expecting more rides at USJ, and then he was like very disappointed that there wasn't. And then they were playing some like songs on the speakers that I geeked out about because I was like, oh my God, they're playing All Time Low. And then I was freaking out. And then they were playing like the How to Train Your Dragon soundtrack, and then I freaked out again. So, but yeah, that was really, really fun. Just a lot of walking. Yeah. We also went to like, in Kyoto, we went to like a lot of the more nature-y stuff, I guess, because Tokyo is like your city. But in Kyoto, we did the monkey park. I know we did a few other things hiking wise.
Okay, time out. You can't just glance over Monkey Park like it's
yeah.
I need to hear about
Okay.
it.
Okay.
You mentioned it like it's a Mario Kart course. You're like, yeah, we played Monkey Park. Then we went to.
Okay, so it's basically, it's as it sounds. It's a hiking trail, and you go up to the top of a mountain, and then there are monkeys there that you can like feed, or they walk around you and stuff. And sometimes as you're like walking up the hills, you'll see them in the trees around there. I think it started with an A, like Arishiyama Monkey Park or something. I don't remember what it was called specifically, but it was like a staple of Japan that you had to go to. So that was really fun. Just a lot of uphill hiking stuff that you had to like actually get to the top, but the view was really nice. And then, you had all these monkeys walking around you and stuff. And then you could like feed them through the bars or the cages or something. It was like a liability thing, so you didn't want to feed them like as they were wandering around, because it's like a hazard thing, because sometimes they can get aggressive with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was fun. And then I sent a bunch of videos to my girlfriend, and she's like, I hate monkeys, as I was like showing her a video of me feeding one of them, and I was like, look at this, it's so cool. And then she's like, get that out of my sight. Trying to think of what else we were doing. We just did so much. I can't even like remember all of it, because it's like all coming back in like one blur. There were a few anime districts that we went to. So there was in Tokyo, there was some anime districts that we went to.
Did you
and
do
then-
Akihabara?
Yes, that's what it was. So
Yeah.
nice. A lot of shopping, a lot of like cool anime stuff. And then there was also there were a few anime districts in Osaka that we went to, but it was just me and my sibling by ourselves. And then we never did any of the maid cafes, because I guess we were just not interested enough.
That's fair.
But there were so many of them, like, and we also went to puppy cafes, which were really, really fun. We went to like they also had like cat cafes, but I went to a cat cafe when I was in New Zealand for a few weeks. So it was an outing that I did with a friend. But I didn't want to go to another cat cafe, so I was just like, let's do a puppy cafe. They also have one with sea otters that we never did. Never did it, because like the line was like 2 hours long, and we're like, yeah, we're not doing this. So
Oh my god.
yeah,
I
it was
booked 2 hours for sea otters. Sign me up.
No, I was like, no, I want to go shopping. So I ended up
Yeah.
going shopping. There was also in Shinjuku, there was a few shopping districts there that had like super cute clothes. So I got some from there. Because like the fashion is so diverse. I was like, wait, their punky, grungy stuff is so cool. So I got a few.
Awesome.
But like some of the shoes that were so cute over there, like they did not have my size because they were all smaller. I was upset. Like even like the XXL did not fit my feet. And I was like, I have skinny feet, but they're just long. So like it didn't fit me lengthwise. And I was mad about it.
You're like, you got this in a US 13?
Yeah, no. It was hard. Like the biggest size I had was an 8.5, and I was like, I'm cooked.
Damn.
I was like, I'm fucking cooked. Because they were so cute too.
I told your dad the next time you guys go over, one of the things you should check out is there's a place called Korakuen Hall.
Mm-hmm.
And every night there's professional wrestling, but it's like different promotions.
Oh my
If you want
god.
to see some really fun stuff, there's a promotion called DDT Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
They have the craziest stuff happen. Like they've had wrestling matches with like mannequins and stuff.
I think they just had a wrestling match on a bullet train in Japan.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
The bullet train was fun, but I guess it like the hype. My dad was like so excited about it, and I had to tell him that bento boxes were not specifically for the bullet train, because he was posting on Facebook that he was like, they even had special bento boxes for the trains, and I was like, it's just normal Japanese food. You do you. I did not like them because it was like room temp stuff or cold, and I was like, no, I can't. Like texture wise, it was setting me off.
I was gonna ask,
I
like, what
just nibbled on the rice.
what was like the best food you had in Japan?
Oh my god, the best food? A lot, but there was this one like hole in the wall udon shop that They were so sweet over there, but it was like a little quiet place and it was so good. Literally like the best udon I've ever had. And I was begging my family. It was the last night we were in Japan. And I was begging my family. I'm like, we need to go get some udon because I'm going to throw a riot if we don't go. So I went. So we went and it was so good. And they had like this pizza udon in a way. It's hard to explain it. It was like this udon and like this tomatoey sauce. And then they like put pizza crust, like they baked it in like pizza crust in a way, like on top of it in this dome. And then you cut it open and like the udon was there. It's actually really freaking good. We were both kind of like, let's try this because it looked interesting. So yeah, but it was just really hot when you first opened it, but it was pretty freaking good.
It's like a volcano. You just crack the top end, and the steam is just like
no, actually. And then
it's like taking your fursuit off in outside.
Yeah, there was also I don't know if you've heard of Bungo Stray Dogs. That's like the anime that I'm obsessed with. So there's and it's based off of real life people that were like authors in like the 1900s. There's a bar that's been there for God knows how long. It's called Bar Lupin. It's like a little hidden thing in Ginza. And I freaked out. They knew I was into BSD because I was just geeking out and they got me like the Matchbox and everything for it. So that was definitely like the highlight of my trip. And they gave me a little brochure that had like, that I was talking about like the Baraiha trio and like had all the famous photos of like the real life like Dazai Osamu and stuff. And then they had a few signed prints from the author of the manga and they showed it to me and I was like, oh my god, this is so freaking cool. And they were like geeking out with me. They were so sweet about it.
Now, out of curiosity, do you have any knowledge of like the Japanese language?
Not really. I had to learn a few things, obviously to like communicate with people there, but it was just very basic phrases. So a lot of the times I had to rely on Google Translate. It will be your best friend when you are over there. Google Maps and Google Translate are your best friends when you're over there because I navigated half the city on my own with Google Maps and everyone relied on me for directions. So I was like, this is the one thing I'm good at when it comes to common sense is finding my way around things.
Yeah.
So
all in all, like what would you say the difficulty was in getting around and interacting and things of that nature with that limited knowledge?
Yeah, definitely the language barrier was pretty hard because sometimes they like didn't understand what you were trying to say or like trying to communicate with them. But I think also like culturally it was a little bit hard because like they know we're tourists and we're from America, so I think some Japanese people were like, oh, you're from America, great, that kind of thing. But I was trying to remain polite and like trying to abide by like whatever their cultural customs were and stuff. So I think once you like kind of research what their culture is like, they have a better respect for you.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's what I figured out. So I was trying to be like really polite and like keeping quiet and like a few of those things. And I think they realized that I was like trying to be polite about things and following their traditions.
Yeah.
Yeah. America hasn't had a great news cycle.
No.
So you're in a different culture and you see some Americans come by and you're like not these people. Not these fucking people.
Yeah. Yep.
But anyways, this is a music podcast. So like what kind of music do you listen to? Do you like music? I mean,
I do. I have my vinyl right next to me. So
do you like music?
I do because I collect vinyl. So
nice.
I listen to a variety of music, but I'd probably say my top categories would be like punk stuff. I also like it's varied. But most of like my top artists are like Pierce the Veil, All Time Low, Panic at the Disco, MCR, Paramore, but like old Paramore.
Old Paramore is where it's at.
Yeah, I have one of their albums on vinyl and I listened to it and I was like, yeah, this is where it's at. But also like my girlfriend has got me to like Sabrina Carpenter and stuff like that. But
Sabrina Carpenter had a great 2024, if we're being honest. Great album.
Right here. But
Mountain do it for you.
Also, like, I'm also very much into Conan Gray and Billie Eilish as well. I guess Conan fits more in like the like alt rock stuff, but sometimes it's
Yeah, I'm
hard
not
to.
familiar with them.
It's I don't know if you guys heard of the song Heather. It's like the really really sad one. No, okay, that's like the ones I recognize. But yeah, I'm also very much into Billie Eilish. I have all 3 of her albums on vinyl. But All Time Low is like my favorite artist of all time. No pun intended. I have so many posters, so much merch. Like, for Hanukkah, my dad's like, "What do you want?" And I was like, "Can you get me vinyl?" So he got me Happier Than Ever from Billy, and then he got me like 1 or 2 All Time Low vinyls. And then when I finally got to meet them at the Soundgarden down in Baltimore, because it's like this vintage record shop, I got to meet them for like a record signing. I freaked out so hard. I was like, "Oh my god!" So stood out in the cold for 2 hours, bundled up because we wanted to leave early instead of like arriving late and then leaving late. So we just showed up early and then left as soon as it, like 20 minutes later we left. So, but yeah, I like geeked out over that. And then I was wearing a Toothless sweater, and then the main singer was like, "Oh my god, I love your sweater." And I was like, and then he brought up the live action, and I was freaking out. I was like, "Oh my god, we're talking about How to Train Your Dragon," which is like one of my favorite my favorite things. And I was just starstruck, and I was trying not to like be your typical like starstruck fan. I was trying to talk like a normal person, but I was like, "Oh my god, I'm dying inside." So I have the signed vinyl. Well, they just signed the cover, and then I up, and then I have the actual vinyl over here that I'll play. But it's the same I have the same album on 2 different vinyls because I didn't realize they were doing a record signing right next to me, and voila, I was off work that day, so I actually showed up. So now I have the same vinyl on 2 different ones because one of them was on pre-order that I wanted. So
Nice.
That's so cool.
yeah.
Yeah, have you seen them live before?
Yeah, I've seen them live about twice. The second show that I went to go see was at Merriweather, and I got pit tickets for like $45 each.
Hell
so I
yeah.
was right at the barricade, and they were right there, and it was the best freaking night of my life. And I was, I went with one of my best friends and then one of my siblings' best friends, and it was so fun. I took ibuprofen as soon as we left the concert because I'm like, I'm gonna be having this massive headache. So, but it was so fun, like getting right up close.
Yeah, I've seen All Time Low once before. My wife's a big All Time Low fan. They put on a great show. Like
They
honestly,
do,
like
they really
it sounds
do.
just like the record. I'm not a huge fan, but like I like the album with Dear Maria Count Me In and stuff.
Oh,
and,
that's like our first album, yeah.
Yeah, and they sound just like the recordings and stuff. They're
They
pretty
do.
good live.
It's fantastic. And they put on a great show, and the Merriweather show was like their headliner, basically. It was like their last show of their Eras tour, basically, because all the artists are doing Eras tours now. So it was their headliner. They just went above and beyond. They had like pyrokinetics there, and they had like fireworks. It was so freaking cool. And they had a plane circling Merriweather that said All Time Low Forever. That was like a little banner at the end of it. And I was like, wow, okay.
Merriweather's a nice area too. That's a nice venue. The last couple of years at Warped Tour, I went to the Merriweather and stuff, and I always enjoyed that area too because there's like a lot of shade and stuff. I had gone to Warped Tour in Scranton before, which is literally just a concrete. It's concrete. There's like 4 stages on the concrete, and then there's like an amphitheater up. But Merriweather is so much nicer.
It's nice because it's in a park.
Exactly.
I've also been to Wolf Trap, and I love going to Wolf Trap as well.
I've never been there.
No? It's nice.
Wow.
It's in the middle of a national park, so, it's a big outdoor theater thing, and they use the natural acoustics to have the sound, like, come out. I went to go see Jason Mraz.
That's pretty cool.
So,
Forgive me. I know the name All Time Low, but what's like one of the songs I would know?
Dear
I got your
Maria,
picture. Yeah. That's the one. You know the song, you just don't know
I
who it's
probably
by.
do. Yeah.
You probably know every word too.
Yeah.
it sounds familiar, and then I play like the first notes of Dear Maria, and they're like, oh, it's those people. Like,
They get it after the throat clear.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
yeah, they're also they're Towson based, so
I was gonna say that. I thought they were from that Baltimore-ish area.
they are. Yeah, they're from the DMV. which is surprising. I didn't realize that until like I was very into them, and I was like, oh my god, they only live like an hour from me.
Okay, what is the DMV? I'm very confused by this.
DC, Maryland, Virginia.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
That's where you go to get your license renewed, Jordy. Come on.
Yeah. It's funny how intertwined that area is because like in terms of Super Smash Brothers in like a competitive standpoint, that's like one of the like central areas is like the Virginia, Maryland, DC, and then Pennsylvania is like its own world of its own.
Yeah.
In terms of Super Smash Brothers, it's the wildest.
Yeah, that's a
brand new sentence I ever heard.
That's more basic
You know what Smash
geographical.
Bros is? I used to play Smash, so
Oh yeah, I played against the top-rated Ryu and top-rated Ganondorf in, I guess, what would be known as the DMV area. I lost, but I played against him.
I only did it with like friends. I never went to the competitive stuff. I just knew it was fun, so that's what I did.
If you thought fursuits were sweaty,
Yeah, I just want to say, in terms of Super Smash Brothers, geographically, just making fun of you, Jordy.
sorry, these are my reference points.
Jordy just breaks down the country into just the hotbeds of Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
He's like, we got the Northeast, we got the DMV, the Arizona, New Mexico's got its own thing. The desert scene.
I was gonna say the Pacific Northwest has a pretty big range.
Yep.
So, how about in terms of anime? You know, we've talked about like Arcane and things of that nature, but like, what's your like top anime series? Like, not, it doesn't have to be numero uno. It can be a list of whatever.
I would have to pull up my entire freaking anime list for that because I have binged a lot. Bungo Stray Dogs would be my number one. Just, I mean, I'll be very honest. The plotline isn't fantastic. I just don't know what hooked me to it, though. I don't know. But because of that fandom, I've met some of my closest friends. And it's become like one of the I guess, something like. I can't find the word, but like it's become such a huge staple of my life. That like I've met some friends over it. I don't know if you guys know what zines or zines are. So I'm in like 3 zines right now because of it. They want me to do merch art and page art, so they're all Bungo related, so I'm doing all of that.
Wait, how do you spell that? You said Zine?
ZINE.
Yeah, zines and stuff like that are like really popular in like the 80s and 90s too, where like the internet wasn't so popular and stuff. And like you'd find out about bands and like punk scenes would have their own zines and stuff. And you'd be like, oh, these are like, this is what's happening in here. Or there'd be like articles by like writers and stuff like that. And zines, I feel like in the past like 5 years have kind of got their comeuppance again, and they're like,
yeah, they have
cool underground things.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that would be my number 1. Number 2. Hard. I'd probably say Blue Lock, I guess. I really like Blue Lock. I started it. I was like, I really like Bachira. He's like my favorite. He's my sunshine boy. And yeah, I really like that anime, and then I got my dad into it. We both started Blue Lock at the same time, so we watched it together. But the most recent episodes were like so confusing for him because we would skip, we wouldn't see it over like weeks of times because we were just busy. And then every time I sat down with him, he's like, who is this? Who is this? What happened? And I was like, I can't watch anime with you.
Oh my god. We were talking about this beforehand, but like I haven't cared about soccer ever in my life, but somehow Blue Lock has got me dialed in to the point that I'm like, maybe I should go learn how to play soccer.
I feel like people were like that with Haikyuu too. Third favorite anime. I'm looking at my prints to see what other fandoms that I've been in. Assassination Classroom has definitely been another one.
It's a wild one.
I don't know if you've seen it or not. But I named my dog after one of the characters because I was that into it.
Yeah, I think I've watched the first like 2 or 3 episodes and I really liked it. I just, for whatever reason, moved on to a different one and then haven't gone back.
It's really good. Like the first season, it's funny because like the first season is like everything's lighthearted. You grow to love Koro Sensei, and everything is great. And then season 2 is like, oh, shit's hitting the fan. We're fucked. Yeah, it's like such an emotional roller coaster. And I was wailing like the last episode. I showed it to my dad as soon as we got Karma because I was like, I need to show you why I named my dog this name after this character. But I was crying again at the last episode. It always makes me cry. And he's like, and then my dad was like not even coddling me or anything. He was just like, it's 2D, it's fake. You can always rewatch it. And it's, and so-and-so's alive again. And I'm like, shut up, like it's
real. It's still real to me, damn it.
Yeah. That was at the end of Arcane because I was wailing so hard. I literally took a picture of myself with my thumbs up and there's tears down my face, like acting like my eyes are so red and I looked like I just got hit by a truck. And I walk up to my dad after I finished Arcane and I just looked at him. He's like, what's wrong? And I burst into tears after that. I just started screaming. And then he's like, what happened? And I was like, Arcane happened. And then
accurate.
He's like, it's not real. And I was like, it's real to me. And I'm like sobbing into his chest.
You wouldn't get it, Dad.
Well, yeah, I told him that I was super into it. And then he mentioned that you were into it. And then, yeah, he's like, I heard it's really good, but really sad. And I was like, there's no happy endings.
There's no happiness.
Good.
They're allergic to happiness. And then if something happy does happen, it's like, you have a price to pay. I was telling my friends, I'm like, we got the doomed Yuri, but at what cost?
I'm not a big anime watcher, but I like horror movies that have like not a single happy point in the movie, where it's just all dark and like, because like you get this, every slasher movie starts out the same way, where it's like, yeah, we're a bunch of teenagers, we're gonna go do teenager stuff, and then like you get the third of the way through the movie and the entire tone changes. But like a movie like The Strangers, if any of you've seen The Strangers and stuff, instantly is just bleak from the beginning. Like they're just in a cabin, the guy asked the woman to marry him, she said no, and now they have to spend this weekend at this cabin together, and it's just bleak from start to finish. I love that movie. It's a great horror movie for horror movies.
What's hilarious is like when it comes to media, it's hard for me to watch just perpetually sad stuff. But when it comes to reading, I love grimdark. For whatever reason, I love that genre. But watching it hurts me.
If I watch it or read it, no matter what I do, it's always painful for me. Like I'll go in AO3 and then just read the most heart-wrenching angst stuff. And I'm like wailing, but I'm still reading it. I'm like, why am I doing this to myself?
I could stop anytime, but I don't want to.
I can literally turn my phone off or like close the window, but I'm still reading it,
Oh man. That's like my wife knows I'm into all sorts of geeky shit and she's very supportive of it, and she doesn't
shocking she's still with you.
Yeah, I know. Shocking. But we went to see Godzilla -1 when it first came out in theaters. And I was just like, big giant lizard, blow stuff up. I like this. Godzilla -1 is an emotional roller coaster, and she wound up in tears at least 3 times. At the end, I'm sitting there just like there's Dusty in here.
Yeah. Yeah, they just hit.
They did my boy Godzilla dirty.
It's just...
Dude, that movie, it hits you in the feels real hard.
Yeah.
Are you a Bocchi the Rock fan by any chance?
I have not seen it yet.
Oh, okay.
I heard it's really good, though. I heard
Boy was so pumped.
I need like, someone to talk to it about.
They're like Bocchi.
I know what it is, and I know what it's about. I just haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I actually just started an episode this morning just because I tend to wake up early, and watching anime has been my thing now that I'm taking a break from video games for a week because Monster Hunter Wilds comes out Friday.
He's on his fucking his purge of video games for a week. It's so annoying. Hey, Jordy, you want to play a couple games? I can't.
When you go to Japan, they have so much Monster Hunter stuff. It's actually insane.
It is. I love Pokemon, but like Monster Hunter is my number 2 franchise of all
time. So
time.
much Monster Hunter stuff over there. It's actually insane.
I can't wait. I'm going to go to every single Monster Hunter restaurant that they have there.
Like in most of the anime stores, you'll find Monster Hunter stuff. Like it's all connected.
Well, oh yeah, I started this new anime I saw. It's called The Red Ranger is an Adventurer in Another World.
Interesting.
It's taking like in the world of like Kamen Rider or Power Rangers. It's what if one of the Power Rangers got isekai'd away to a fantasy world. It's great. I recommend it.
I
You
give
never,
Jordy
you never seem to surprise. Like I'm never shocked by anything you say anymore.
so many good recommendations for Jordy, and they just go out and find the weirdest shit possible, and not ever watch anything I do.
Wait, has no one else seen Reborn as a Vending Machine? Now I Wander the Dungeon.
What?
Yeah, a guy
No,
gets
Jordan.
isekai'd away, but he's reborn as a vending machine.
Interesting.
Why are you saying isekai away like everybody knows what that means?
Everyone does know except you, actually.
I don't know what it means.
You're
I don't know
good.
what a zoophile is either.
It's
Rough
Sue me.
understanding. I have a rough understanding of what it is.
It's
Explain
a
it.
trope. Okay, it's a trope in anime where like usually somebody dies and instead of like going to heaven or hell, they're brought into a fantasy world for whatever reason. So it's just being put into a different world. Usually it's in like a wizards and dragons kind of setting.
Okay. This will lead me to my next question. Where do you want to get isekai away to? Any fandom you can, any alternate reality, video game, movie, TV show.
That's actually a really good question.
Jordan
Damn.
gonna hit you with the dumbest fucking answer too. He's gonna be like, cat dog. I want to go to live where the cat dog lives. Half dog, half cat. I want to be there.
I gotta say, I think it's got to be Pokemon for me, just
That's
because
where
like
my
that's
mind
such
went.
an integral part.
Yeah.
You
I was
a
gonna be like,
Pokemon
oh,
trainer?
I'll just go into the world of BSD, and then I realized how fucked it is, and I'm like, I'm gonna die first thing, and if I meet my favorite characters, because one of them works for the fucking mafia, I'm like, I would be so cooked, folded, and then mopped on the floor, like I. But yeah, probably Pokemon. That would be really cool.
Yeah, I think honestly, I think I'd have to agree with Pokemon too. I thought Jordy was gonna say Monster Hunter. I'm like, Jordy, you don't stand
No,
30 seconds a chance in Monster Hunter.
cooked. You're cooked.
I mean, I will say the food in Monster Hunter looks, for whatever reason, they decided they're like, we're going balls to the wall to make sure all our cooking animations are top tier. And they
I mean,
did-
Capcom does kind of kill it on cooking animations because I think even though Dragon's Dogma 2 was a flaming dog shit pile of garbage, the cooking animations, which I think were actual like real videos of people cooking meat on like an open fire grill. There's no way that was animated. It was like 2160p, like perfect definition quality.
yeah, that was mind blowing. That was the best part about that game was the cooking animation.
Yeah, literally nothing else.
So we're talking about like anime and art. I just had this question where like, where do you find the intersection between you doing like fursuits and art? Like, where do you think that intersection is? Because like I'm looking at like the portfolio you sent us and stuff. You can see like anime influence in your art style and everything.
Where does it intersect? I don't know. I think just like I like to combine a lot of my fandoms into like one thing sometimes. So sometimes I'll incorporate it into my art style, or sometimes like I guess my fursuit making style too sometimes can border on that like cartoony anime stuff. I also do realism art, but it's rare now. Because I think I prefer digital art much more. But I used to do a lot of like charcoal work and stuff, but then I kind of ventured out into like more of the cartoony and anime stuff. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of it intersects for me just because I don't think I can like divide that clearly. I guess my brain just doesn't allow me to do that. But I also think it's like a cool thing because then I can incorporate a lot of stuff into each project from different bits and pieces of fandoms.
You see if they have like concept art for like suits and
I do. So like references very much help me. So I'll do some concept art of that. I think on my Trello I have, I'm gonna pull it up. So I have like the concept art for this is how I want to lay out my fursuit. So I have one for Venus because I needed to see like this is how I was gonna arrange everything. This is a base from Oops Cry Creations, so it definitely helps me a lot to like color over it, but she also has a reference sheet that I drew which helped me with the back design.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it'll focus or not, but
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
coming through. Clear.
Yeah.
yeah.
Venus likes boba tea.
Yes, it's my favorite drink as well. So I did like her favorite drink is like milk tea with boba, and then this is like the back design. I also forgot to mention she does have hearts on her hips.
Oh, sick.
So that's like the Saturn design. I don't know if I have an actual picture of her back. Actually, I might because my dad took a photo of it. There we go. This is with her old head, so you can't see the stars, but this is like what the Saturn design looks like.
Oh, awesome.
I
That's
used the rainbowy fur and then kind of just did the ring with that like purple. But yeah, definitely the concept arts and reference sheets help me a ton. Sometimes the commissioner already has a reference sheet done, sometimes they don't, so I have to like do it on my own. Or sometimes I'll just do a chart on my own because it helps me simplify it, because if they're only getting a mini partial, I don't need the entire freaking bodysuit image. So sometimes zooming it in that way helps me a lot.
Now, would you say like your natural art style is that more like cartoony / anime style?
Definitely. I still use references when I can, but when I draw realism art, especially for like animals, I don't use a whole lot of references sometimes just because I've been doing that art for God knows how long. But I definitely say like my characteristic art style would be the more cartoony anime stuff. I don't know if her old badge is in here. It is. I'm making a new one, but this is kind of like what my characteristic art style would be, I guess. This is the old badge, just because her eye colors change, so I need to change it to purple and then make the Venus part way more readable. So yeah, and also like sticker art. They're pretty big.
Oh, that's adorable.
Yeah, I'll hand some to my dad so he can give them to you.
Hell yeah.
Because I have a bunch that are just sitting around. And, like, this is what I was handing out at cons. And I'm like, well, I want to use this for when I give my suits to clients because they're nice stickers. They're, like, waterproof. They're dishwasher safe. Like, so
Now,
I
is that
wanted
something you order, or do you actually print those out yourself?
No. I can. I have a Cricut, but it's just a lot of work. So I get lazy and just purchase them. I'm like, here, give me die cut stickers, please. So I got like 100 for maybe like $75 or something. I don't know. It depends on the company, but also they're pretty big, so they were more expensive.
Okay.
Mhm.
I was gonna say,
Yeah, it's
what's a good
crazy.
website for that kind of stuff.
You can just look up. I just Google searched. I was like custom stickers, and then found a bunch of websites. And I think this website was called Sticker You or something. And then I found another one called like Sticker App or something that I can use for holographic. I know Vistaprint does die cut, but they're more expensive. So I'd rather just go to a different company that can do it.
Sticker App is great. Sticker App is what I've used in the past and stuff.
Yeah.
Quick turnaround. It is crazy though how much exponentially more expensive a sticker gets by just adding like a half an inch.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I can get 100 for $50. Half an inch more, 100 for $100.
I know. I'm like, no, thank you.
Yep. Yeah. There's always a number in my mind. I'm like, if I want the stickers to be X amount of dollars.
Yeah, the die cuts had to be much bigger because I didn't realize the resolution was so high on my artwork that if I scaled it down, it would be so pixelated. I had to like blow it up so it would actually like show up good.
Yeah.
I like how stickers are where the intersection of like furries and band promotion combine.
I love stickers. I have stickers all over my laptop. I started throwing them on my cabinet. I have a bunch on my water bottle. Like,
Hell yeah.
I just throw them everywhere. So I'm like, I'll just hand out stickers because everyone loves stickers.
Everybody loves stickers.
Everybody.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's cool.
I was gonna
All
say,
right,
is
I
this
feel
a
like
good
you've been-
place to start wrapping things up.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like Ori's been fiending to say something, but hasn't said it.
I don't
What have you been
know.
trying to say?
I know,
Ori,
I was
what are you
just
trying to
wondering-
say?
I was just wondering,
Huh.
like, was there any anime specifically that, like, I can't think of the right word, but like inspired you to draw, or like any like style that you like really kind of latched onto? Because I know like every single person who does art has done arcane art because like it's people who get it know that it's a fucking masterpiece, and they want to
I've
like.
done arcane art, but like
It's just-
I can't mimic that style, so I just
Yeah.
draw it on my own. Like I draw my own style for it, and for me, it's taken me a while to adjust because I was like, this does not look like Jinx, and then I realized I was like, wait, this is just my style, so it's still Jinx, but like I think my brain had a hard time adjusting because I'm like, I'm not going to be able to mimic that art style. So I kind of just did it on my own, and I was like, okay, I can work with this. No, nothing that's like specific that's inspired me. I think just like looking at different artists' work and then just developing my own style as I've progressed. Because like, I think definitely OC designing was my first like staple of okay, let me get my own style for a character, and then I kind of just my art style's definitely improved since. So
So you just
just
kinda,
a
like,
lot of trial and error.
you've
Huh?
kind of always been drawing, pretty much
Mhm.
like, and then like drawing came and then anime came after, or did anime come and then draw? Okay, okay,
No, drawing first, anime after.
okay.
Okay, and forgive
Uh,
my ignorance. When you say OC, you mean original character?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, not the hit show from the 2000s, Jordy. California.
No. No.
It's
Yeah, just like designing my own character stuff.
Okay, sick.
cool, yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I wish I had that kind of creativity. I always need. Well, I've literally just started trying to teach myself how to draw. Like I mentioned, I literally have a book that's how to draw Pokemon Deluxe. It is
No,
designed for children.
Yeah, how
I
to
just-
draw Pokemon Deluxe gives Pikachu a fucking elbow.
Elbow, bro. Pikachu got
Elbow
no
chew.
elbow.
Elbow chew. Elbow chew.
Yeah. No, I kind of just wing it and I'm like, okay, this is what works, this is what doesn't work. And then just kind of mess around. Honestly, I don't follow tutorials or anything like that because it's like I feel like for tutorials, at least in the sense of like how to draw something, it's more like I just want to figure it out on my own and see what works for me. And then it doesn't necessarily have me copying someone else. It allows me to like develop my own style. So that's what I've been doing. Like I'll find like bases on Pinterest just to get anatomy right, but most of the time they don't have like a face on them. It's just more of like a basic outline of the anatomy, and then I kind of just take it from there.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you do the
Yeah.
whole crisscrossy spheres and ovals thing that a lot of people do?
I just kind of see whatever basis Pinterest gives me, or sometimes I'll just like trace over an actual photo and then
Okay.
kind of do my own shapes that way.
Alright.
So with like the How to Train Your Dragon redraw with Chuya instead, I literally just like sketched over whatever Hiccup was doing and then kind of just did like the circles and this is the basic outline, and then I took it from there.
Okay,
then
for you two artists that are here that are good at drawing, how does one make a circle actually a circle? My circles are the most jagged pieces of crap ever.
You don't.
It's just
You don't.
It's such a struggle. They're like, just make a round line, and it's like, ah.
Jordy, you have to
Just
like
make a round line and you somehow have an elbow on your Pikachu.
you have to sketch more, Jordy. You have a lot of like solid one go lines. You gotta like keep doing little lines. I don't know, that's how I draw.
I'm just following what the book tells me to do, bruh.
It's just
And then you put the elbows on the Pikachu.
It's in the picture. You saw the picture. It's there.
the reference is kind of scuffed, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Pikachu with
Yeah,
elbows
but-
sounds like something from my nightmares.
Yeah.
It's just,
Elbow chew. From the
Pikachu's just like this, and then he's just like her.
yeah, people who make their OC based on Pikachu don't really have a good track record, Jordy. So you don't want to be in that community. It's- I'm surprised there's not
but
more
yeah, I
like
do.
Pokemon
Oh, good.
Fursona kind of. Have you ever seen like a Pokemon based Fursona?
Oh,
I have.
You
I
have?
have.
really?
Okay.
At
Oh,
Cots.
please tell me it wasn't. Please tell me it wasn't Lickitung.
It's,
No. I've seen some that like have been like there's this one person that has a Lucario inspired Sona.
that makes sense.
And it doesn't look exactly like Lucario, but it's like a fox body, but like has the markings and stuff. I know at Katsucon there was this giant Gengar costume that was just waddling around, and
Like the inflatable ones?
no, it was
Oh,
like
just-
made out of
ooh.
like fur, not fur, but like Mickey fabric, so like fleece in a way. But it was so cool and it was huge.
Damn.
Um,
that has to get hot.
They won't call it a fursuit. I guess it's more like a mascot thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think it would be the worst Pokemon to make a Fursona out of?
Voltorb.
Yeah, that's where my mind went.
I gotta remember I gotta remember the different Pokemon then. God, I don't know.
Voltorb, really though? It's
It's a sphere. It's a sphere with
yeah,
nothing on
but
it.
like it's like I can't think of any off the top of my head, but Voltorb seems too basic. I mean, again, it's a basic Fursona, but that's a too basic of an answer.
Yeah.
Well, if Ari made a Fursona of Voltorb, they'd be like, it's an octopus.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a shout out to our Pokemon episode we did recently where Ari is trying to convince us that Voltorb is actually an octopus. Wrong.
It
In every
makes sense.
universe.
Doesn't
I
make sense.
have to look it up.
Oh,
It's
no.
literally a ball with eyes. That's
Yeah,
what
Voltorb doesn't have any arms.
I think
Literally
I-
disqualifies it instantly.
Octopi can be any shape they want and any
No, they
color they
can't.
want.
Yeah, but you know what makes an octopi an octopi? 8 arms or legs, whatever you
Yeah.
want to consider them.
You know what
It's
happens?
just a glorified Pokeball.
Yes.
Exactly.
And that's
Thank
and that's
you,
the
Zoe.
thing.
At least somebody with a
They
fucking brain around.
camouflage themselves in the Pokemon world to look like a Pokemon ball, and then you go up to it, and then it's actually the Pokemon.
And then it does this with its arms. Ugh. Just kidding, it doesn't have arms.
A glorified freaking Pokeball.
Exactly. It's an octopus.
It's not an octopus.
All right. Well, follow along for Gotta Classify Them All episode 2 whenever we decide to do that.
Also, fun fact, I just had to look this up recently. Apparently, there's 3 accepted versions of the plural for octopus. Octopi,
Uh-huh.
then there's octopuses is also accepted, and then octopodes.
Octopodes?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna start calling them octopodes now because that's pretty cool.
I think that's an
Octopuses
AI
just
answer.
sounds. Octopuses sound. Yeah, was that an actual search result or was that the Google AI?
I
Oh,
think
that was
that's the
Harry
Google
Webster.
Oh.
Merriam-Webster. Okay, we'll allow it.
I don't know about that.
But yeah, we should get ready to close it up here. So.
Yeah.
All right, so to give you an idea of how we do this, we add songs to a playlist that we've been doing for each year.
Uh-huh.
We take a moment of silence because we need Ari to be able to play the song so it records on their end.
Okay.
So
Let's go
whenever they
first.
find the songs, yes, I'll play it.
All right, I can go first. I got a new single by previous guests of the podcast, Keep Flying, with Storm Chaser, new album out in April, I believe. It's called Storm Chaser by Keep Flying. Look it up. Let us know when you're going to do the brief 10-second pause.
Right now. Cool, my Spotify is also now not playing through my speakers.
I was just waiting.
What the heck? Unless Tyler's like trolling me and it's like a 3-minute silence song. How? How's it possible?
No, it's a real song. It just came out.
Yeah, it just came. I saw it this morning.
Okay, well, give me a second. Because my.
Yeah, unfortunately, Zoe, you won't be able to hear the song because we haven't gotten that far in technology
It's-
of our OBS stream yet. So we just have to assume that Ori is playing the songs.
Yeah.
Okay, I figured it out.
Are you playing it?
Yes. Cool. Jordy?
So I'm gonna put "Get Your Brits Out" by Kneecap, who's a fun band that I just found. They have a very like Beastie Boys kind of vibe, but their whole thing is they're wanting to reunite Northern Ireland with Ireland and get the UK influence out of it. It's actually really deep stuff.
Oh yeah, but when the Chisel wrote about it, you guys didn't like it.
What is this album art?
All right, pull it up on your phone and show the screen.
Go
Jordy.
back to tell them if you want the rapper next edge. I'm gonna say this.
Sure.
This
I
is
hate you
only
for.
meant-
Oh great.
I hate you for.
Is it
making
problematic? Can we not be talking about this?
No, it's
Okay,
it's
okay.
alarming more than anything.
Wait, are kneecap zoo files?
It's
No. This is it.
You can't see the wrinkles.
Are they wrinkles or is it hair?
Oh, it's wrinkles.
wrinkles.
It's definitely
Okay.
Tyler, you got one right? Oh, no, you already went. Silverstein's new album came out yesterday or 2 days ago. I'm gonna put Mercy off of it. It's like one of my favorite tracks on it.
Is that
Not
the
even
French
the best
version?
track.
Merci.
Merci beaucoup.
Mercy, mercy, I'm begging, please. Close your eyes and set me free. I am you, but you can't be me. I am you, but you can't be me.
Riff Gods. Okay. Zoe, what kind of music do you want to add to the playlist?
Oh, I have so many. I guess if we'll just go with the classic, we could just do Dear Maria.
Oh my god.
Instant classic.
For everyone, if you didn't think you knew the song, I'm gonna refresh your memory right here.
I got your picture, I'm coming with you, dear Maria, count me in. There's a story at the bottom
Oh,
of
so good,
this
I love this
bottle,
part.
and I'm the pen.
I am familiar with this song.
Yeah, it's everyone is.
Yeah, we know you are.
It's-
Everybody is.
I love that song.
With how popular that song is, I mean, All Time Low got to be a pretty big band. But with how popular that song was, they should have been a Paramore,
I
or
got your
they should have been like
Yeah. They did
somebody
like
else in that. Like,
they did a remake, and like the first song they did is Dear Maria, Count Me In on this vinyl.
oh, that's a nice looking
That's
vinyl.
pretty.
So, and it plays so well, but the first song that's on here is Dear Maria, so I will repeat it.
All right,
multiple
closest to guessing the play count of Dear Maria, Count Me In on Spotify.
Oh shit, I don't know.
Yeah, well, I'll give us all an edge. I don't think we're in the billions.
No.
Is
Okay.
it like 50 million?
No, it's way more than 50 million.
You
100
locking it
million?
in, Jordy? You locking it in?
You locking it at 50 million?
Yes, yeah.
I'll go next. I'll go 672 million plays. Sorry if I took your answer, Zoe. 672. Good
No,
answer.
100.
Tyler, you win. It's 642 million.
Holy shit.
It's
Damn. That's crazy. And think about that. So that album, what year did that album come out? Do you still have it pulled up?
It was like
yeah,
2006.
2007. Yeah.
Damn. So like, think about how many streams that song would have if it hit streaming services the day it came out.
Oh my god. Wow.
Think about how many times you listen to that on a CD, or how many times you listen to it on
Dude,
other.
that is any playlist that's like 0,000s, it's like going to be one of the first 5 songs to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
it's a classic.
Well, thanks
Anyway,
for joining
all
us,
right.
Zoe.
Yeah,
I
but-
really appreciate you coming on.
Now I have to force myself to sit down and study because I have an OChem exam on Tuesday.
OChem is brutal.
Oh god, it's OChem one.
I didn't know you were a science major. We could have talked about other stuff too. It's
I'm a science major.
Just like
I'm
humble.
tracking pre-vet, so I have so many science sequences that I have to do, and OChem is one of them.
oh, no one takes OChem because they're a chem major. I know that. Like no one wants
God.
to take chemistry. It's just bio majors that
No.
have to. It's
Head into a wall.
it's
Ugh.
But before we
Um,
let you go, let's get your Instagram and everything else put out there so people
Yeah.
can find you.
So I'll pull out my fursuit Instagram because it also has my main on it. So this is my fursuit Instagram. It's pws.studios, and this is what it looks like. And then this is my link tree. So you just do linktree / I think it's Painted Wing Studio, just as is. So that's like, quote, my website where you can just access everything. So if anyone is interested, quotes or commissions and quotes are open. So quotes are free. You just have to
Hell yeah.
answer the questions and then upload a reference sheet, and I will get back to you.
and we'll have links in the description too. So if
Yeah.
if you need a fursuit art, anything, pretty much,
Yeah.
you know where to go.
Yeah. Yep.
Just you wait. Once we get our Squarespace advertisement, we'll make sure we get you that link code.
Thank you.
Yeah, Ricky, you want to get back into being a furry? We now have you a fursuit maker. So
Yeah.
there you go, Ricky.
Yup.
Also, I had to laugh too, Jordy. You changed your camera at one point and just highlighted your booby mouse pad.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
I looked up and I was like,
What the fuck is that?
I love Food Wars, okay? Get off my back.
High five.
On that note, we're fucking out.
we're out. American flag bikini boobies. That's a tongue twister, actually. All right. Thank you again for coming on, Zoe. Episode 51.
Thank you.
Episode 52 is next. So.
Yeah.
All right, see you guys. See you next
Okay,
time.
bye.
Oh my god, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Zoe. This is a
Yeah,
blast.
thank you.
I really don't want to study, but I have to.
Yeah,
It's-
best of luck. I remember organic chemistry in high school was the highest level I ever took, and it was a nightmare then.